It's insane.
Welcome everyone to episode 25 of the Pickleball Effect podcast. I'm Braydon.
I'm Porter.
And today we're going to talk about Porter's trip. He was traveling this week, doing some pickleball stuff. We're going to talk about Braydon's first week on the job. Then I want to talk about this. I'll show you a new toy I got to test spin, guns, doing some updates to my paddle database. And then we're going to do a 3 out of 5 section around two-handed backhand. So let's get into it.
Yes, I'm excited about that one.
So Porter, you were gone. You were in Minnesota?
I was, yeah. It was in Minneapolis. It was freaking cold down there.
What was it?
And, for Minneapolis in the winter, it was actually like only 30, 40 degrees, which wasn't bad. But coming from Boise, which was also 30, 40 degrees, I don't know how I managed to do it, but I forgot to bring a sweatshirt. So I kind of just...
You knew where you were going, right?
Yeah, I knew where I was going, so I just ended up taking one from a lost and found at a pickleball complex. So it ended up working.
Did you keep it? Did you bring it home with you?
I did, yeah. So now I just have a sweatshirt that says I ride motorcycles in Minnesota. But
nice.
It's, yeah.
I would probably pay money for that.
I mean... If the fans listening, watching, I'll sign it and sell it online. So I mean, you know where to reach me.
That's funny. You were just hanging out with friends though. It was like Chris and Will and stuff.
Yeah. So I was down there with Chris, the Pickleball Studio, Pickleball, Will, Isaac Olson, which is Chris's brother, doesn't get enough production.
Doesn't get enough credit.
Yeah, he's a great guy. He does a lot of the production. Behind the scenes, I was able to see kind of the whole studio setup. It's wild, man. But while we were down there, we were actually shooting a commercial for a new bag company that is coming out. They used to make luxury tennis bags.
Oh, is this Will's thing?
It is. Yeah, it's Will's things.
He called me and pitched me on that bag, the ADV or something.
Yeah. So it's called ADV. They used to make luxury tennis bags, and now they're transitioning to pickleball. And the stuff that they're making is pretty cool.
Is it pretty sick?
Like, I mean,
how do you feel about the clamshell opening of it?
I actually really like
it.
It's super easy to access. Pretty much everything from there. I'll throw some like photos that I took of it on the screen, but
dude, that's cool.
It's sweet.
Are you in the commercial?
No, I was kind of the intern dude, so I was just walking around taking photos.
They missed an opportunity there.
I know,
man.
They
didn't just look at you and think this guy needs to be in the commercial.
I know. You see this face? It's whatever.
Yeah, but they made a mistake there. This commercial is not going to do as well as they wanted to.
No, I mean, I'm like, I got to see how the full commercial like shooting works and how it works with like having actors on a set and everything. It was wild. It was really exciting. So
that's really cool.
Cool trip.
I got a trip booked to hang out with them towards the end of February, and I'm looking forward to learning a lot about the production side of stuff, because I'm pretty weak there. Like, my website's strong, I can write well, but my videos are just meh.
I wouldn't say that.
So I'm excited to pick up some stuff from them.
I've seen the stuff
I know how to play
made,
pickleball.
But you're definitely right there with them.
Thank you. You're just saying that because you're on here, but that's okay. I'll take it.
Yeah.
There's got to be some stories from this though.
Oh yeah. Okay, dude. So.
Can't pick. You were there for like a full week. Right?
So I left.
Stuff happened.
I left on Tuesday and I got back Sunday night. And probably the most memorable thing was the very first day that I get there. Okay. I go and I'm playing pickleball against Isaac. And I'm not a singles player.
Okay, so this is singles,
right?
Okay.
So I'm playing singles. and I'll straight up with it. This guy whoops my ass, dude. Like I did not play well. He played very well, but I fell over and I bruised my knee, and I was
geez.
like, oh, that kind of sucks. But then I played again, and because I'm 17 and I think I'm invincible, I decided
You are invincible.
to dive again, and I'm like, oh no, I bruised my knee again.
Same knee.
And I did it a third time in
Oh my gosh.
another match.
We need knee pads.
And so now to this day, like literally just taking a step on that leg, it still kind of hurts. I'm kind of stupid, but at the same time, I just want to win. I want to win.
Did you win any of those points at least?
Oh yeah, I mean we had some great points.
No, the ones where you bruised your knee.
Oh yeah.
You did? You picked one of those points up?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So it was worth
it was definitely worth it.
Were you filming?
I wasn't.
You don't just film every game you play for.
I mean, I can't technically prove it, but I promise I did get some points. The other thing that was, probably the most memorable for me was I was staying with Isaac and Will in their apartment, and during the first day of shooting the commercial, halfway through, I had taken literally like 2,000 plus photos, and so I'm like
of them doing the commercial,
of them BTS lifestyle stuff for the bag. So I had covered like every basis, but then I go and I'm like, dude, I've got 2,000 photos. And I'm exhausted. We had to wake up at like 5:45, and it was
2,000 photos.
It was a lot.
You pushed down your finger 2,000 times.
Well, I had it on burst mode, so I was able to hold, but like it was still a lot.
Is that
so
status quo? Is that usually what people do? Is the burst mode on that kind of stuff?
For most parts, especially
even on like a static like object. Like a backpack?
I mean, most like static object stuffs you don't want to burst necessarily, but it's useful when you're just trying to find the perfect shot and you're able to get like every single angle possible. But yeah, so like halfway through the shoot, I'm like, hey dude, I've got most of this stuff I need. And I had a ton of school to do that night. So if I had continued shooting with him, we would have ended up being out till like 11 p.m., getting back to the apartment, and then having to wake up early again to go shoot. Oh, I just bumped right into the mic, but we would have had to like wake up early again and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm like, hey dude, I got to go to the apartment and do school. And instead of doing school, I just sat down on the couch and I immediately passed out.
Oh,
I was so tired that I just slept on the couch. I think I woke up like 3 hours later. They were still out doing the video. And then I go into my room. I do some school.
Environmental science, probably.
Yeah.
You tend to sleep on that stuff.
I know. Unironically, I did have to do unironic. English is so hard.
Wouldn't
for
that
me.
be
It's
ironic?
Unbelievable. But yeah, I had to do environmental science, and then I fell asleep.
It's gonna come up every
again,
episode, dude.
And I realized that I hadn't eaten anything all day, and somehow I realized this in my sleep. So I wake up at like 2 a.m. and I DoorDash McDonald's to the apartment, and the guy delivers it, and I'm reaching out from the porch
because I don't DoorDashing at 3 a.m.
At 3 a.m. in Minneapolis. I don't know. It was insane. And so I got McDonald's, I'm trying to be super quiet about it because I don't want to wake the other guys up. But the apartment complex, obviously, like it's locked. I wouldn't be able to get back in if I go out. So I'm just like sitting on the porch,
Eating
like
your McDonald's?
probably like 6 feet off the ground, and this guy pulls up, and I'm like, "Hey, over here!" And,
Gotcha.
and he's got to like walk out of his car, and I'm like feeling bad, and I'm like, "I'm so sorry, dude," and I'm just reaching down.
And Porter's not tipping.
But yeah, no, of course not. They don't deserve that. But I got my McDonald's, I got my sleep, and it ended up being a good trip. So
It seems like I can't remember what one of the get to know you questions we did last episode. What if a McDonald's came up? Like,
yeah, it was, what was the last thing
you
that
bought?
you bought that wasn't food? And I couldn't think of anything.
So we said food was.
Except
So McDonald's
food, that was
remains.
McDonald's.
It remains to be the last thing you purchased.
And
was
I
McDonald's.
ordered the same thing on DoorDash. It was 2 double cheeseburgers, a large fry, and a medium Coke.
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious. All right, so I'm sure you played doubles with all of them. I think you've played with them before.
Yep.
All right, rank them skill wise. We got
wow.
the 2 Olsons and Will. Where do you put them? 1, 2, 3.
Ooh, this
Overall
is
skill,
tough.
Not right side, left side singles. Just overall. Where do you put them?
Okay, so not singles or anything.
Or do we want to split it up? Do you want to do a singles?
I'll
Are there
say
different
singles
rankings?
and doubles.
Okay.
But like,
Start with singles.
Singles, Will clears.
Okay.
He destroys everyone. That guy is. I don't know.
How does he cover the net? Isn't he short?
He's short, but he's insanely fast.
He's fast, like a gazelle.
And he hits the ball with so much spin. Like, it's kind of like that, but he keeps his shots in. And it's like, Will... The pros versus Joe's things where he gets like 6 points off of Julian Arnold, like that's real.
Okay. All right, so we got Will at 1. Who's 2?
Will's 1.
We got to put you in this group too. What do you?
I gotta put me in this. I feel like me and Isaac are pretty equal on like a good day.
On singles?
On singles.
Other than the game where you bruise your knee 3 times?
But yeah, I'd say most of the time Isaac's probably got me. Chris, I smoke him all day. No chance that guy gets. I can't tell if you're being
sarcastic or.
No, I'm not being I mean, I'm sounding like I'm sarcastic, but I'm not. No, that guy sucks.
And then
no.
Where do we rank everyone in doubles?
Doubles, I would say that Will and Chris play very well together.
Do they? Okay. That's a thing. You can have chemistry and play better with someone than other people.
Me and Isaac play very well together. Me and Chris play very well together. Me and Will play I think everyone in that group kind of knows each other's style well, that we are able to mesh. Skill-wise, I'd probably put me at the top of doubles. Man, I hate saying that stuff like that, but our light just dimmed. Who cares?
Oh, it's back.
Oh, it's back. But like, yeah, I'd say probably me, Isaac, and then actually no, I'd say me, Will, and then Isaac and Chris are pretty equal.
Okay.
And then Chris and Isaac also have a secret third brother that no one knows about. It's Patrick Samurai Olsen, who's the worst. But he's
worst in what way?
worst pickleball player, but he's the funniest for sure. The dude, he will like hit the ball and jump around and do like a 360 and land like Spider-Man or something. He's ridiculous. But yeah, fun, they're all so fun.
Well, good, dude. I'm glad you had a good trip.
It was good.
I'll have to make it out there one of these days. But this was I had a good week myself. This was my first week on the job full time.
Yeah.
And I'm still on a high, dude. It feels good. Just kind of getting organized, getting some simple stuff done. Gonna start cranking on things. But I did post that ball video we talked about last time.
Yeah.
So I I told everyone that the Dura like crushed everyone. Like that was no surprise. The one
Right.
surprise was the Selkirk actually kind of fell towards the bottom on like the power and pop. Like almost, it was better than the Franklin, but not much. And I was
Oh,
kind of
yeah.
surprised to see that the Selkirk was lower on that ranking. I would have like guessed arbitrarily that it was higher.
Right.
But yeah, if you haven't seen that video, go check it out on YouTube. It was a fun one. No one's really put together some stats around balls. Like everyone,
We were
so making fun of how people
on
always
the
say the
very
same
last day of the trip. We all went to lunch together, and I was like, "Hey, did you guys see Braydon's new stats video?" And they're all like, "Yeah, it was actually really, really interesting." And they're like, "Yeah, we weren't going to make a video on this, but it actually looks like an interesting topic." And
yeah, it is interesting. And I got so many comments. You can't please everyone.
No,
like,
of course
everyone's
not.
like, "Oh, well, that was cool, Brayden, but do this ball. Do
Okay,
this ball."
right.
Then I'll like you.
Yeah.
No, but there's a handful of balls suggested. I might do the same thing for. But that was fun to do. That was the first video I've ever used a teleprompter.
Oh,
with
yeah,
before.
yeah.
Have you ever used a teleprompter?
I used it for the first time last week.
Oh, did you
Yeah,
too?
Uh-huh.
So it I'm like, when I watch myself, I'm very robotic.
Uh-huh.
I mean, I'm kind of robotic as it is. And with the teleprompter, I was even worse. I'll get better over time, but I felt really weird using it. But anyways, it was kind of funny. But I think it'll make me sound more intelligent.
Yeah,
Because
sure.
you tend to ramble when you don't have one. You know what I mean?
It is so incredibly useful. You just have to be able to
Like read it
play
and look
off.
natural.
Yeah.
So I'm still trying to figure that out. And like, anyways, that was kind of fun experience. I'll get better with that. But anyway, I want to play a little game with you with balls. So I brought an Selkirk S1. I got a Franklin and I got a Dura. You're gonna close your eyes.
All
You're
right.
gonna handle a ball. These are used, so they got some fuzzies on them, and you're gonna guess which ones are which. So let me get the balls.
All right. He wants me to handle the fuzzy balls.
I got you a drink too.
Oh,
Fresca?
you got a
You a
Fresca?
Fresca guy?
Sweet. Yeah, I kind of I was going to get a special drink this week, but because it was so late notice and I was out of town, I just couldn't do it.
It's okay. I got you.
Here, let me check something really quickly while you grab the balls.
Yeah, go for it.
All right.
We're still going. Okay. Yeah, I saw your Coke was empty, so
Yeah.
Bring out the Frescas.
I was just having a delicious meal down here at the kitchen at the Flying Pickle. Brandon didn't seem to like it for some reason. But
so yeah, he's munching down these tacos before we record here. He's got 2 fat tacos with nothing but chicken in them, like only meat. Like,
yep,
that's weird. I don't think people do that.
it's not weird. People
Just
do
gotta
that.
get that
I
protein.
don't know, man. It's like
I don't
I
even want to
feel
hear.
like-
I don't even want to hear your excuses for it.
I feel like
Just
this-
accept that it's weird.
No, okay, fine. I'll accept that it's weird, but I feel like at least once every episode, it's gonna come up that just I can eat anything at my age, and it just doesn't matter.
That was
So-
that was probably healthier than your McDonald's. So.
Yeah, probably.
Okay, dude.
But
Here we go. So Dura,
okay.
Franklin, and a Selkirk. Close your eyes and hold a hand out.
I'm holding it 2 hands out.
You can handle it with 2 hands. So handle it.
Wait. All right.
Okay, yeah, give it a feel. Take your time. I saw you peek right there.
Yeah, take it back. I
I'm
felt
mixing it
this
up.
on my arm. That doesn't count. All
Okay.
right.
Ball 1.
You said Dura, Franklin, Selkirk, right?
Yep, those are your options. Don't say which one it is yet. Just say, okay, ball 1 is going to be this. All right, time's up. Hand it
Okay.
over. Next one. You think you got a good idea of it?
I think so.
All right, hand it over. Ball 3.
Okay.
Okay, what
Got
was
it.
1?
Selkirk.
Ooh, open your eyes. 1 was the Dura.
Whoa.
What was number 2?
I thought for sure number 2 is Franklin.
Okay, 2 was the Franklin.
Yeah.
And you said
3
3 was going to be Dura. It was the last
Yeah,
one
I
left.
thought 3 was Dura.
So you got the Dura and the Selkirk
I didn't
wrong.
expect you to have a smooth Dura. I thought you were going to have a smooth Selkirk.
Nope, that was it. They're all semi-used. Yeah, the Dura is a little smoother than the others.
Yeah.
All right, there you go. One for 3. I thought you'd get it. I kind of want to try. Hand them to me. I also want to see what I get.
Okay.
All right, eyes are closed.
All right. All right, 1 second.
You didn't press on them.
I gotta mix these up for like myself.
I feel like you might be able to tell just by pushing down on it. I don't know.
Yeah, no. All right, here's number 1.
Oh man. Okay. I thought I would just be able to tell pretty quick. Is that it? Okay.
It's a tough one. All right, you good? Here's number 2.
See, I already know the Dura was the smoother one.
Oh, I forgot
Was that,
about that.
is that the,
No,
I still can't tell. I still can't
I'm
tell.
not gonna tell you. All right, you good with that one?
Yep. Okay. I want to say the middle one was the Dura. The first one was the Franklin. Last one, Selkirk.
I just grabbed another Dura. They were all Duras.
No, you didn't just grab Duras. You can't do that.
I just did.
Why so you handed me the same ball twice?
Yeah.
Oh, that's not fair. That's not fair.
I feel like that was funnier though.
That's pretty funny.
All
right, that was harder than I thought it was gonna be.
I didn't even plan that. I just looked around. I'm like, oh, there was a ball right there, and it's a Dura. This is perfect.
Dude, oh man, that was pretty good.
I feel like you probably would have gotten it otherwise.
No, I don't know. That's pretty funny. Okay, I guess we really don't know. It'd be funny to do that with like actually hitting it, but it'd be hard to hit a ball blindfolded because balls do feel stiffer and harder.
We just take your glasses off and then.
Yeah, there we go. Just take the glasses off.
But
oh, dude, that was funny. Okay, that was good. All right, I wanna show you a new toy I got.
Yes, I'm excited. Very excited. Oh
All
God.
Right, check this puppy out.
Is this a bomb?
This thing looks like a bomb case.
TSA would not like this.
No.
Audio listeners, this is just a black plastic box that literally looks like a handle for a gun. It is a gun. It is.
Isn't
a gun.
that funny how big that case is?
Yeah.
When it came in the mail, I was like, "What is this? This is hilarious." So this is oh boy, try that again.
Louise, man.
This is a radar gun that measures speed, but it also measures spin, which is what's super cool about it.
Oh, nice.
And so we were messing with it before we jumped on here. So we'll talk about that in a second.
I'm pretending like I don't know what it is. But
yeah, you don't have to pretend. But I saw Pickleball Journey. Do you know those guys?
Yep. You're a cool channel.
They do. They kind of have a paddle database like I do, and they do like the spin and test. And so I saw them using this. And I started chatting with them about it. So this was a radar gun that was actually made for baseball, but they started trying with pickleballs, and it was working for them. And I wanted to try it out because when I run spin tests, particularly, it gets really tricky when you get in this really high, like 2,000 plus. So
I know how people run the spin test.
Yeah.
It's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work. You do the film, you go watch it in slow-mo, and you kind of count the frames and how many revolutions per frame. And it's a little bit of a guessing game when you get towards those the last frame. You're like, was it a half a frame? Was it a 0.6, 0.7? Because when you put that into the calculation, it changes the number quite a bit for the result. And so and I'm sure some people do it better than I did, but I was using a GoPro, and I felt good about my results, but I was never like super confident in them.
Okay.
And so I feel much more confident with using this. And I've been going back through my database, retesting spin, and I'm going to start publishing exact numbers from this. And it's getting very, very similar to what I was getting before. It's a little different, but not terribly off. And I'm more confident in the numbers this is giving me than what I was getting before.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to start publishing those numbers, but I'm also going to start publishing power and pop. And so I've been going through my database, getting a feel for how juicy and how poppy paddles are. So I've been doing this for the last couple of weeks, just going through all the paddles I own and getting these numbers so I can go put in my database. But like I show up here, because I always do it indoors. I always use Franklin's for these tests, and I bring my wife. She helps me do it. I got 3 kids.
This thing's heavy.
We're all like strapped in this huge wagon, and I got my bomb case here with me.
Right.
And I have no idea what people are thinking, but I'm sure they're just laughing at us. But I've done a bunch of paddles now, so I'm gonna kind of organize that data this week and update my database with those new sections. And I'm really excited about this because then I'll be able to tell like one thing John Q does with his database is he gets these numbers and then he puts percentiles next to them. Because like you may see a number like 1800 RPM. So like, what does that really mean?
Right.
So when you have that percentile next to it, it kind of gives context to the number. And so this thing is changing my workflow.
Yeah. Are you going to have like
so much faster?
Are you going to have like a page on your website that's just devoted to stats where you can click on like the brands and then scroll through?
Yeah. So I have one up already.
Nice.
And it's pretty slick. And then I'm just going to dump all this extra information into it.
That's awesome.
And
dude.
so I'm really pumped about it. It gives you the spin results immediately.
Right.
And it's super, super cool. So we were actually, you can crank the ball. You can put so much spin on the ball.
Decently, yeah.
So we were, before we recorded, you and I went and ran some spin numbers on this guy. So, you got your B&B filth here. Excuse me. So it's a little used, but you were still getting, it was like upper 18s on it, and I was getting like 16. So you get approximately 200 RPMs more than I do just on your typical hit.
Yeah, I think I was just doing my normal serve too. I wasn't.
And you're like famous for the spin serve. And so we tested the spin serve. So you flick it top, like you do top spin and then you add top spin.
Yes.
It's
double.
This gave people so many issues. Like,
people were mad. People were mad.
But this is probably the first time anyone's ever done a spin test on a spin serve.
So in the very, very, very first spin serve video out there, it was before the Pickleball Studio existed, but Chris Olsen made it on Pick Ninja's channel. It was a analytical review of all of the spin serves in pickleball, including like Anna Lee Waters and Georgia Johnson and everything. And I actually got to be interviewed, and he taught me how to do like the Sharpie half ball thing. And back when it was two hands, we weren't able to measure it off of actually hitting the ball, but we were able to measure how many RPMs I got off of
just spinning with your fingers. Was it just too much spin to be able to measure?
No, so I ended up getting 2,200 RPMs.
Oh, I meant when you actually hit it, was it just too fast?
Yeah. Well, we were doing it over Zoom, so we weren't able to do that, sadly. But I was able to get 2,200 off of just the grab thing, which was. It was actually either 22 or 2,800, but I know it was 600 RPMs higher than the second highest RPM, which was very happy.
Yeah, that's insane, and so that doesn't surprise me with the results we got just now.
Yeah, I was wild.
So your very first one, you got 3,100 RPMs with we were measuring. Then your next two were just over 3,000.
Yeah,
like that is insane.
It went from 1,800 to over 3,000.
Like double, which is just bizarre.
After this, if we have time, I want to kind of just measure to see how fast I can flick the ball itself. But
yeah, we'll see if it picks it up.
But yeah, no, that's cool. Man.
It's super cool, dude.
Like I've heard of people try to use the radar guns and RPM measuring stuff for pickleball that haven't worked, but that thing seems pretty accurate, and that's awesome.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited about it, and yeah, I mean, it just speeds everything up. I'm able to test more paddles, and you can like retest paddles easier. So as I was going through my database, some paddles were newer, some were like semi-used, and some were more used. And it was pretty remarkable the spin loss you'd get on just even the semi-used paddles. Like it was pretty noticeable versus newer ones. And yeah, dude, I feel like that's one of the biggest problems with paddles right now is just the loss in performance within like 3 to 6 months.
Yeah,
I don't think people realize how often they really need to switch paddles to maintain the like highest level from your paddle. But yeah, dude, it's and it picks it up. When I first was going through the paddles, I had one paddle I was getting like 1,400. I was like, what is going on? Like, why is this sucking so bad? It should be way higher.
Right.
And then I looked at it. I was like, oh, I've handed this out as demos a few times to people.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, it's just lost its
No,
spin capabilities.
it's crazy, dude. I mean, I haven't yet encountered a paddle that really, really maintains its freshness
Yeah.
for a
There's gotta be-
decent period of time.
Hopefully someday they come up with some sort of innovation
But-
around that.
Yeah, no, I know. Like back before the carbon fiber days, like, you know, the Selkirk Amped or the normal paddle tech
Yeah.
or whatever, those would last forever, except for like the edge guards coming off because of glue. But like,
Because the spin sucked out the gate,
exactly,
so it didn't matter.
but like the face itself, it would last forever. So hopefully, eventually, we'll be able to get some sort of thing that helps.
Yeah,
I
the
mean,
grit-
I know we've got
the
like
grit definitely wears out quicker than like the pop and power.
like we've got the paddle erasers or whatever,
helps.
but I mean they help, but at the same time they don't do too much,
Right.
which is a bummer. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
everyone has paddle erasers now.
yeah,
Those used to be a little
I'm
thing.
not.
Now they
I
like
have
come with
no
paddles.
idea what the ones these are even. So
Yeah, that looks like a
it looks like
generic
a honeycomb from a literal beehive. Dude, when I was in Minnesota, I think this is gonna sound stupid. This is just a dumb thought, but I had no idea how many types of paddles there are.
like how so?
Like, I just never contextualized the amount of brands in
Oh.
pickleball, because I was at Chris's house and Chris was just he was on vacation in Hawaii. Within his, I think it was like
1 week he was
10-day vacation, he got over 11 paddles just sent to him. Like, not even asked, they just got sent to him. And
Yeah,
like
that's pretty
just
crazy.
seeing the amount, it's wild.
Yeah,
And I just never really realized that. It's like,
yeah. It's insane.
Dude.
I get paddles on a weekly basis, and I don't like saying no to companies. Like I always tell them, I'm like, look, I do my reviews based purely on performance. I'm happy to try your paddle. I can't
Right.
promise anything. Send it my way. I'll give it a try if I like
but
it.
it
I'll review
might
it.
not be what you want to hear, right?
Yeah, and so most brands say, yeah, I'll send it out to you. So I mean, I have so many paddles in my house, and if I don't go through and like donate older ones I know I'll never touch again, like I would just
It
have
just clumps up.
it would just get insane, and I still have so many paddles in my house.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Speaking
it
of which,
gets
this
wild.
is the next one you're going to be reviewing right here.
Yeah,
It's
dude,
what one's
it's
this called?
the Unspininator.
Unspin. This is so smooth.
Yeah, dude, can you imagine? We should go measure power on that thing. I bet it rips it.
Actually, yeah, let's do that, film that with our phone, and then just put a short clip.
For those
before the
listening,
video.
this is like a wooden paddle. That's a decoration.
Yeah,
we
it's
had to
just-
film in a different place today because our normal spot was.
It's taken
taken.
up by
So
a meeting room.
We're we made do with this other spot.
It's like this building is using their own room instead of just
We own
letting
this
us
building.
have it for
We
free,
own this building,
which isn't okay.
I don't think
but-
they.
Yeah, no, we got a
we
lot
need to
of.
talk to him about that.
This actually, like, depending on how this sounds, I'm liking how this place looks. So
Yeah, maybe we'll be back here again. I don't know. It's a pretty cool spot. So we're like on the upstairs.
Mhm.
So behind us, and you go down, there's 18 courts.
yep, 18, and then directly below us we got some like
Like the showers.
compression sleeve, the Airlax type things.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And
There,
then
the locker room. There's the
restaurant,
kitchen around there.
There's a
More
whole,
like,
like,
hangout space.
sitting area where people will watch like
Yeah, this is
the
this
football
is a
game.
really cool space that a lot of indoor locations don't have.
yeah, for sure.
Flying Pickle, Meridian. Come
Yeah.
check it out if you're ever here.
That was another thing. Going back to it, like in Minnesota, there's so many facilities, and there's just because this is the one real facility in Boise, and we just went all out on it. It's just so nice. Whereas all of the other ones are just like, oh, here are your courts.
Yeah, there's kind of like two models,
it's-
right? There's like a place like this where it's a little nicer, a little more
Mhm.
posh. They have hangout areas. They have the kitchen,
And then
and
there's
then there's
gym.
the
yeah.
like 24/7 access. These are your courts. Go play.
Exactly.
And I like
so
this.
This
feels
we're
good.
lucky to have this place
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah, this
but-
place is dope. And
All right.
over time, I wonder if we're gonna get more places like this because they're like this facilitates the community side of things. Like
This
people like
is
hanging out. There's a lot of people that go play pickleball,
this
hang
is
out, eat, and chill.
like obvious. I'm biased. I'll admit it. But at the same time, I've been all over the country and I've played in so many indoor facilities. And besides maybe like crazy expensive lifetime facilities, this is one of the best indoor clubs out there. And so hopefully we'll be seeing more stuff like this.
Yeah. And like right now with the like deficit of courts across the states, like people are just money grabbing, like here's courts,
Yes.
buy a membership. They're not like it's just like a race, you know?
Yeah. Like,
and I think that's why we're seeing a lot of those like pop-up shops where it's just like a warehouse, 5 courts,
Exactly.
come play.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of places like this. I mean,
Yeah.
I guess I'm basing it off what you just said because you've been more places, but from my little experience from like all the indoor places I've seen in Utah, this tops them.
Yeah.
As far as like
Yeah, I know we're having
niceness.
At least I'm pretty sure we're having another group trying to build another dedicated indoor place, but sadly it's just not in a great spot.
Yeah, we'll see how it
So,
does. I mean,
but
there's so many people. I imagine they'll do just fine.
yeah, I mean
It's
that's
still,
true.
like,
there's so
There's
many.
so much
people.
demand here.
It's
This place
not-
filled up.
Yeah,
It's crazy.
but
No, I think they'll be just fine. All right, let's for our last segment, we'll do the 3-0 to 5-0. I want to talk two-handed backhands with you. So we're gonna pull out the instructor out of you.
okay.
First, this is like a shot I've been working on and trying to add to my game, so I want to talk about it. But first, like do you use two-handed? Like what stuff do you? What do you incorporate?
Time.
Where do you use it?
Yeah. So
You're right-handed.
I'm right-handed. My favorite shot in pickleball is probably, excuse me, these frescas are making me bubble up a little here, but yeah, no, I think my favorite shot is just a forehand ground stroke. So pretty boring, but I really like to implement two-handed backhands in
Like, is it defense, counters, dinking?
Yeah, so it's a lot of defense. It's a lot of counters, and it's a lot of baseline stuff. It
just
is
like two-handed ground strokes kind of thing.
Yes, it is very.
I don't think I've ever
very,
seen you hit two-handed ground stroke in your life.
Well, I mean, yeah, I don't know, man.
Just kidding,
I
don't
hit
know.
them in decent.
I just made
amount,
that up. I have no idea.
but I like if you're at the kitchen and you're not Riley Newman and you're not playing women's doubles, which is comparatively almost a completely separate type of style. I would not recommend using a two-hander as a dink.
Oh, really? Okay. So you think there's like a level threshold? Like it's a more advanced
Definitely.
technique. So you don't teach it too often.
No, I the only time I like to really teach a two-handed backhand is for hands battles, just because when you are at the kitchen and you're 14 feet across from the other player and the ball's going really fast, your ready position should always be paddle at your chest,
right?
Like straight on. And if you are able to have a two-handed backhand, that means you can go back and forth from forehand to two-handed backhand very quickly. And the benefit of actually having a two-handed backhand is that if a ball is coming so fast towards your backhand side and you're using a one-handed backhand, if you have to try to like reach behind you to hit that ball,
it keeps it more compact, right?
You're just not going to hit a good shot straight up. And so having that extra left or right hand there to kind of guide you will just instantly make it more solid, more comfortable. You'll just have a better chance of doing well in that point. And so
I think that's an easy implementation. But even at like any level, you'll say implement a two-handed counter or hands battles?
Yeah, so I would say
It's
not
just
any
the
level.
dinking that's high level, you think?
Yeah, dinking is definitely much more high level because you do need a lot more finesse and like control over how you use your arms. But
Controlling the arms, it's
yeah,
tough business.
it's tough. But like for countering and stuff, I would say like if you're a 3-0, all I really care about is you just getting it back over the net. That's full stop. That's it.
Right.
If you're a 3-5, I tend to try to get you to start using a two-hander. Just because reasons I've listed. It's just more literally
it's stronger,
solid. It is
more
a
solid.
literally more solid shot. And the main thing that I just love about pickleball is that you don't need a two-handed backhand. You can learn pickleball in such a unique and weird way and get super good
Make it work.
at that super unique
yeah.
weird way. And so whenever I'm coaching, I never ever try to deter my students from trying something that feels comfortable for them, because I know that unless it is just so obviously wrong, I know that I will be able to work with them and take that maybe really weird shot and turn it into a weapon. And so that's
funk can work.
Funk works.
Like I played with so Chloe the other day. She's got a lot of funk in her game,
God.
and it's tough to deal with.
Yes,
it's just so unconventional.
Yeah, she has her own two-handed backhand thing
angles,
that's also funky. But like,
it works. For
yeah,
her.
I would say my biggest recommendation to people who are trying to just improve is look for stuff that you really want to get better on. You don't just go out there willy-nilly and try to just get better. You have to have a specific point of focus.
Yeah.
But also, like, don't feel like it is necessary to completely rewire your mind, completely change your game, and
That's
all
good.
of
I like
that. Because it is important that you learn the basic fundamentals, but it's also important to be almost like different and unique, because the more
don't be afraid to lean into
the more weird you are, the harder your opponent's gonna have when they're.
It's so funny you say that, because when I think of the styles of a lot of pro players, a lot of them have something that's kind of weird.
It's a little different.
Like JW has his hands low. Riley Newman has his crazy Eastern grip. And I don't know. You could go through. Everyone's got some funky thing.
Like my favorite player in the world is Jeff Warnick. And he
funky as it gets.
And he holds his paddle like
so
this,
weird,
and he just does this the whole entire game.
Just windshield wipes it. But two-handers at the pro level is getting more common.
It is.
It's almost every single woman has some sort of two-hander, if not full-time two-hander.
Yeah.
And then on the men's side, we're seeing it more and more often. Like
yes,
Garnett
I'm
is
very
kind of leading the charge there.
That.
Ben Johns has developed a lot of two-handed stuff. Do you think that trend's going to continue?
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you have to have it to compete at that level? You think some sort of two-handed?
I do think you do. Like I said, I don't think it is. Well, how do I phrase this? I think that having a two-handed backhand, I said earlier that it isn't necessarily going to make you better. It's not going to make you a better player, but having a two-handed backhand in your back pocket when you need it is important, because
it's got to be there.
You are able to play the game with your one-handed backhand. You're able to hit great dinks. You're able to hit maybe even some good drives. You're able to hit good attacks. But in those scenarios, especially at that super high level where you're going to get caught off guard on your backhand side, that's where the two-handed backhand almost becomes necessary,
Yeah.
because otherwise it's just such an awkward shot.
Yeah, I agree. Everything you said, I'm definitely like see the same way you do. I think if someone's trying to develop a two-hander, the easiest place is on defense. That's where I first started implementing. Like if I had to back up off the kitchen line, I pull two hands out. You don't have to swing at it. You just block stuff there. So I use it a lot there when I'm defending the midcourt. And then I started using it as a counter, particularly on the right side when I'm defending the middle. Using that two-hand, like you said, it makes it stronger. You don't have to swing big. It keeps you from over-swinging. And so there's a lot of benefit. And you can create different angles with it. Like I can go across the body on the person in front of me.
Yeah. Most people are expecting when you're going like this that the ball's going to go cross court. But if you just slightly take
it gives you
angle,
options. It gives you options on angles off the counter, which is nice. And then I've recently started dinking more with two hands. And like I don't dink everything, but when I get into a spot when I'm on the left where I'm like, I feel like I'm in control of the dink exchange, I'm going to start bringing in the two hands. And I've really been digging it. I'm getting better at it. Excuse me. But I feel like the advantage it gives me is I can hit harder angles than I can with just a slice. So I'm like a threat going across the court, but you could also speed that up down the middle and down the line like you can't with one. So all of a sudden I have three threats. So the person I'm dinking cross court with has to cover middle.
Exactly.
The person in front of you has to cover the line. And if they overcover, then you can beat them with a dink. If they don't cover enough, you can beat them in the middle. Like it just opens up a lot of shots and keeps them guessing in ways you can't do with one.
Yeah.
And like I've been digging it. I really love it.
It just opens
but it is
up
harder.
a ton of options.
It's much easier to pop up the ball. It requires a lot more footwork, I feel like, with the two.
Yeah,
like,
you do got to move.
You really have to move your feet, open up your stance, like find your strike zone with it, or it just kind of sprays. And so with one hand, you can kind of get away with being lazy. Like you can just reach, cup your wrist and hit a slice dink or whatever. With the two, you have to be more active with the feet, and you have to recover quick because like when you watch Newman, he hits everything out in front of him in the middle of his stance, and he'll shift really wide to get a dink. But then he jumps back fast, and a lot of people will try to beat him down the middle, and he's always there.
Right,
but so you have to be more active with the feet. But it does open up options offensively that I really, really like.
Yeah, I think you saying the way you learn it should definitely, I would recommend be on defense like that. Just like sitting mid-court and having someone hit attacks at you over and over again and working on that reset. That's a great way to learn it.
Yeah. And it just takes time. Like it's a new shot. It feels different.
Yeah. But like,
and it's weird going back and forth, especially when you're dinking.
Yeah,
like on the counters,
yeah.
I feel like it's easier to go between a 2 and a 1. But when I'm dinking, I get like when I first started doing it, like I would get mixed up.
It's a weird brain
and it took
thing,
a minute to kind of figure out, okay, this is when I do 1, this is when I do 2. Until eventually I wasn't thinking, and it kind of just happens now. But it's it takes some time, and it's still not perfect. But I'm not super good with topspin. I kind of slice it a little bit, a little side spin. Yeah. But I'm able to hit harder angles, keep the trajectory lower, and it's coming along. It's going to be good.
Yeah.
And I've never been a crazy strong left side player, so I was trying to find ways to become more of a threat on the left side, and that's one of the ways. The other way, I've always been weaker. Just something you do really well is just crunching the middle. Like any speed up in the middle, you just smush with your forehand. Like I can't do that as well as you. My playing partner, I play with Abe a lot, and he is so amazing at just squashing the middle with that forehand.
Abe is scary.
Best hands in Boise right there.
Yes.
6'7", former BSU basketball player.
Dude, oh my gosh.
Hands of a god.
I don't even know, man. If Abe had started playing like 6 years ago, he would be top 10 right now.
He would be elite. I mean, he is really good as is. No, he's just crazy hand-eye coordination.
Yeah,
just he's so long and he uses his reach so well. But no, he's a phenomenal player. And but one thing he does really well on that left side is just squashes that middle. And
for sure,
you need that. I don't quite have that yet, but
Yeah.
getting better. But that two-hander, I'm really into. I just feel like that's kind of a trend that's going to stay.
I'm very excited to see more of it because, pickleball definitely does have its own style. You do want it to be unique and all of that, but like the two-handed backhand, it is just, it's a cool shot, honestly. Like it looks cool, feels cool when you hit it, and it's like, I'm excited. I'm glad it's way more common.
Yeah, and we're seeing a lot more paddles with longer handles now to like accommodate two hands. No, just speaking of like handle lengths here for a sec, I've touched on this in a few of my reviews, but like whenever I see marketing of a longer handle from any paddle company, they're like extended handle for two hands.
It's the same.
It's the exact same, but like there's so much more advantage to a longer handle than just two-handed shots that people don't give it credit for. Like you can whip the ball, you can get more spin, more leverage on overheads and power.
My favorite analogy ever that some wise old man told me at like a YMCA 5 years ago. He's like, yeah, why are you holding the paddle up towards the face? Imagine that you're nailing a nail into a piece of wood. If you hold the hammer at the head, you're not going to be able to get any power. If you hold the hammer down at the bottom, you'll be able to hammer in the nail and actually get the leverage. And I think like
Mr. YMCA.
Exactly. Wise old man right there.
What a stud.
And I repeat that all the time because it is true. It's like if you're able to have that more torque with the longer handle, that's good for sure.
So even if you don't use two hands, definitely benefit there.
Yeah.
When I first started, I actually had my finger up on it because I love ping pong, and I would have my finger on it, and so that's what I did with a pickleball paddle. And
I still have my finger on it.
On the left hand, which is fine. But like your
but for your fork.
Yeah. And one day I just said, okay, I got to change this. Like I'm like to your point, like I was losing leverage, I was losing length. And it was so awkward when I first made the switch.
It's so funny that you bring this up. My mom was drilling with Tall Morgan, the other day. And you know how he still holds his finger up. And, like, the dude can't hit the ball hard.
No, he can't.
And my mom's, like, finally, she's like,
she convinced him to switch.
Morgan, take your finger off the handle, dude.
It's time.
And as soon as he did, he's able to hit hard shots now, and it's like it's the small things that make a difference. Obviously, like once you go from finger on to finger off, the dinking's the hardest to get used to.
And it just feels awkward, but it's definitely worth it.
Yeah. So
and once people do that, once they take the finger off, like I don't really see a benefit of anything under 5 inches. Like it just doesn't make any sense to me. But there's going to be people that don't make the switch ever. And if that's the scenario, then you want, like, that's the only scenario you'd want a shorter handle.
Yeah.
Is if you hold it like a ping pong paddle.
I mean, I know people that say 5 inches is too small, so it's just.
Yeah, I think the future would be 5 1/4 is going to be the shortest. And then we're going to see 5 1/2 and 6 inch.
I feel like 5 1/2 is like average. So
5 1/2 has become the norm. We'll see. We'll see longer ones this year. I'm dropping a review this week of the Hurache-X. It has a 6 inch handle.
Hirachi.
Although it's probably closer to 5 1/2.
Chris is using that pedal. Actually.
Yeah, he was liking it. Yeah, it was. I like posted something on Instagram about it, like the same day he did. Like just totally
just random.
And I got some messages that were like, "Are you guys conspiring?" I was like, "No, dude."
That's fun.
Chris.
It's just a paddle that comes out.
It's a paddle. We have it both. It was kind of funny, but that one did kind of pop up on a bunch of socials and.
Yeah, I touched it a little bit. It's a nice paddle. It feels good. It's got a little bit of pop.
Yeah, I feel like it kind of brings back the original thermoform playability.
Yeah, back to the good old days.
Back to the good old days. Thermos have kind of gotten a little softer over time, and this one brings it back.
Yeah, his thermos getting too soft these days. But
yeah, I remember when thermos first came out, everyone was just freaking out how powerful they were. And now people are like, "Oh, these are the control paddles now."
It was crazy. Yeah,
there's gonna be a lot of power paddles this year.
Yeah, for sure.
It's gonna be the name of the game.
But
no, I'm excited about the paddles coming out. I keep hearing companies say, "Oh, we're changing up the core, but they won't tell you what that means. I'm like, okay, like, are you doing a gearbox type core? Like,
Right.
what else could you be doing?
It's just words.
So my like
being
hunch,
thrown out.
my hunch is that there's going to be a lot of gearboxy type cores.
Absolutely.
But I haven't really, like, I haven't hit with any of the new Yolas. Those sound like gearbox, but I don't know. What do we got here?
Got my my safety goggles
For the podcast, or just
for
in
the,
case I
for the
throw a
gearbox
punch?
Core.
Oh, for the gearbox core.
I'm prepared, man. I'm scared now.
You don't just wear the glasses when you play against them, but when you talk about them, you have to wear the glasses.
It's kind of like a PTSD thing. I'm like, oh, is someone gonna come out?
Did you tell that story last time? I can't remember.
I told it on the second one that failed.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Tell everyone your gearbox story.
Oh my. Oh, it makes me so mad. Okay, so back when I was a guest on the podcast, we touched on the gearbox because that was the really big thing then. I probably look ridiculous right now. But I had like played against you with it, and I'd played with it, and we were both like, yeah, this would be fun to play with for maybe like a day, but it's just not the one for us.
Right.
And eventually we were just doing this event here at the Flying Pickle called Pickle Jam, which we do each year. It's this big event where it's just basically rec play. People come all over the country to hang out, play pickleball, eat food, and we were in the middle of this like 4 or 5 plus round robin. I invited Chloe, like we were gonna go hang out and stuff, and I needless to say was not really able to play for the rest of the night.
You're really dragging this on. Let's get to the juice here.
It's just a tough subject to think about, man. My mom rigged the round robin so that it would be me and her versus Chloe and this unnamed man from Oregon who uses the gearbox paddle. And here, especially when every single court is being used,
pretty loud.
and there's like 80 people sitting around talking, it's pretty loud. And the gearbox pedal, pretty silent. The very, very, very first point of the game, you know what? Screw it. I'll show the video on screen. Is the very first point of the
Can't
game.
believe you got it on video.
And my mom, it's always my mom trying to get me beat up. She hit a drop directly in front of this guy, and he takes this two-handed backhand swing, not a hard swing at all, and it's from below the net. He hits the ball. It goes directly into my eyeball. And, you know, you got bones around there to protect. It is rare that you get hit directly in the eyeball. And I literally could not see for 4 hours. And
I think you sent me a picture.
Yeah, I've got a picture of me with an eye patch on. I'll show that as well.
Like you guys went to like the ER, right?
No, I didn't end up. I just went over. I got the first aid kit. I like got some eye drops. I made like an eye patch with some gauze and medical tape and stuff. But like, it was bad, dude. Like I was scared.
And you couldn't like.
I couldn't.
Your visibility like wasn't there.
It was gone. Yeah, like
you would cover your good eye. And
I would wake up. I would take the like eye patch off, or I would just open my eye or whatever, and it would just be pure bright white. And it took about 4 hours for me to somehow gain my vision back. Like. It was.
Are you back to 100% now?
I'm back to 100% now. There've been times where it feels like my depth perception is a bit off, but like for the most part, I have not experienced anything else.
Yeah, and
which is crazy.
I mean, it's such a weird combination of like the paddle, the facility, how hot it comes,
It was
and
just
and unlucky.
So quiet.
But like it's hard to react to it.
That was
because
the
of
whole
the sound.
thing.
Like it's part of the deal, right?
Because I didn't realize he had hit it until it hit me.
Yeah, it's a real threat. People like glasses.
Yeah, so now I wear these bad boys
when you talk about it and when you play.
But yeah, it was like it was scary because I genuinely could have lost like an eye. Like it was a serious thing.
I feel like this topic has been coming up a lot recently on like socials. Like there's been like some creepy pictures going around of like some guy that got
just bloodshot eyes.
And so it's definitely a thing. It can happen.
Yeah,
definitely recommend
I'm an advocate
some sort of eye protection. I've always had natural like seeing glasses that I've worn, and they've been hit. I broke my glasses once. It wasn't getting hit from a ball. It was because I hit myself with the paddle. but no, dude, like it's definitely possible.
Yeah,
and I don't think people should scoff the idea of wearing glasses.
Yeah, for sure. Like it's uncomfortable at first, but it'll save you an eyeball. Like my mom finished the game afterwards, like while I was just resting, hoping that it would get better, icing my eye, whatever. And she came up to me afterwards. She's like, "Yeah, I had to turn my back like 8 times just because I was scared to play him because that thing goes so fast."
Do you think people will be able to adapt and learn, and like should those paddles be banned? Or people learn or just wear eye protection?
It's really tough because I feel like there's a learning limit. Like there are some things that you can learn, and there are some things that it's just you physically might not be able to reach, right? And with the gearbox, if you're standing in front of someone right in front of the kitchen and your whole game plan is to literally just hit the ball at them as hard as you can, you're going to win every point.
Until you start like preemptively ducking.
Exactly. And that's the whole thing is it's a gray area between, are people going to be able to adapt their hands to be fast enough, or is it just straight up not an okay paddle to have? Because I know
power's a funny thing, because like when you're speeding up the ball, if it's going to stay in play, it can only go so fast. Like it doesn't matter what paddle you're using. And power on counters matters more than power on the speed up.
Absolutely.
But if they're just straight out body bagging you, like that's a different story. And I don't think a lot of people are doing that. And obviously a lot of the accidents are unintentional. Like people
like
aren't
the
out
guy
there
who
just
hit
body
me, he
bagging.
was so sweet. There was no hostility there. And like the main thing is, like you said, with a lot of shots, they can go out, but with paddles that just hit fast enough, it's just so hard to get out of the way. And so who knows? I'm doubting that they'll do anything about it soon. I do know that.
So if you were the committee guy in charge of keeping or banning that level of power, would you say take it away or keep it?
I would take it away.
You take it away?
Yeah. I mean, they're taking away this freaking serve power. So
sure. I'm actually in the other camp.
Really?
I think we can adapt and learn, because if you can just get out of the way, like see the signs, like or attack them and get out of the way, I think you can exploit that. Yeah. And I think protective eyewear should be a thing.
I do completely.
And if you're wearing glasses and
even if it was taken away, I do think that people should be wearing eyewear.
Yeah, and so I personally think it's fine. I think people will make it work, and I don't think there's people out there just trying to hurt you.
Yeah.
If they do,
screw
them.
But
go back at them.
Exactly, that's the whole thing. And I mean, I do that anyways.
But there are unintentional accidents where you need the glasses, and I think that, like, I'm pro that.
Right. I mean, like, yeah, like I said, I don't think anything's going to change soon, but I do know, like, word to mouth. I know I have heard other pros saying that they hate playing against the gearbox just because of how powerful it is. So
Yeah.
who knows how it's going to end up, but
Yeah, it's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, the rules were designed to limit that, right?
right.
And I don't know the specs around it, but obviously the gearbox passed the deflection tests. But
Yeah.
I don't know. It's we'll see what happens
We'll
because there's
see.
going to be a lot more like them this year, I think.
Absolutely, yeah.
But there we go, dude. That's going to conclude it for us
Woo.
for episode 25. Thank you everyone for tuning in. We'll see you next week.
See ya. That was a good one. Liked it.